What up, it's your boy T-Bird Reaction. Today I'm doing a special wrestling reaction in honor of the upcoming Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming out this Saturday though in London. And we're gonna take a look at some moments from some Money Back reaction vids. Majority of them, just about damn near all of them, except the first one I just did. Gonna be by one of my favorite channels right now as of lately, partsFUNknown. And we're gonna kick things off where there's times when in wrestling they have matches. You want to have nine Money in Bank ladder matches as well too. Two will be matches that is not for the briefcase, not for the briefcase or anything like that. Just a match, just part of the pay-per-view that still would just be as great as the official Money in Bank matchup as well too. So we're gonna check out 10 greatest Money Back non-ladder matches. Let's get it.
No longer need you, papi. I know you're mad because you can't stop me. And if you wonder how this player done scoop your honey, I think she smelled my cologne. It's called Brand New Money. Those are lyrics to Shane McMahon's theme song. Did Shane McMahon try to cock his dad with his mum? Money, 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 money. Anyway, last year we did a list of best Money in the Bank ladder matches. It was a very good list. I sang a little song at the beginning. This year we're making a list about the best matches take place at a Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but aren't the eponymous ladder match. There have been 13 of these shows. Surely there must have been at least a list's worth. Right. I'm Adam hailing from partsFUNknown. Here are 10 greatest Money in the Bank non-ladder matches. Number 10, AJ Styles versus John Cena 2016. It may not be as good as their SummerSlam match, but then again, Freshly Baked Focaccia isn't as good as their SummerSlam match, and Freshly Baked Focaccia is one of life's great pleasures, especially if you got a bunch of rosemary salt and just sprinkle that on top. Maybe some olive oil mixed with balsamic vinegar. It's on a separate plate that you can dip it into. Anyway, this match is great. Cheapens it a little with the Gallows and Anderson finish back when they were treated as a semi-big deal before they got obsessed with Big E's bollocks. There were few better in the world than AJ Styles in 2016, and Cena had leveled up to Big Match John. The company gave them 20 minutes and they ran with it, executing a match filled with big moves, smooth transitions. That AA into a calf crusher is just delightful. High drama, all while saving a little in the tank for their final match together at SummerSlam, which again was a match so good it might have actually ruined the rest of that show. Number 9, John Cena versus Kevin Owens 2015. Kevin Owens had a great 2015. Weirdly, his stock in the company was higher than a year later when he'd be crowned only the second ever Universal Champion. Not only did he kick off the year with one of the best storylines in NXT history with Sami Zayn, but he also had one of the best NXT call-ups ever, beating the jorts off John Cena's narrow buttocks before wrestling him at Elimination Chamber in a 20-minute instant classic and pinning him clean. As such, people were super invested in their rematch at Money in the Bank, and while I would see the near inevitable Cena getting his W back, it was a fantastic match. Fun fact, in all 3 of the matches that Cena and Owens had on pay-per-view in 2015 at Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank, and then at Battleground, at no point did either man leave the ring. Seriously, so dedicated to putting on wrestling clinics with these men that they turned out 3 20-minute matches and left it all between the ropes. Well worth a rewatch. Number 8, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns 2016. Ah yes, the show where all 3 members of the Shield were at some point in the night WWE Champion. The main event of Money in the Bank 2016 will probably pale in people's memories compared to what came after it. Dean Ambrose finally getting the ultimate revenge on Rollins by cashing in his newly won briefcase on him the very same night. But the match between the Architect and the Big Dog shouldn't be slept on. You shouldn't sleep on top of any dog. Honestly, the match might have been ever so slightly hindered by the fact that WWE had made the baffling choice to keep Seth Rollins, the man who just returned
from like I said, back when I was Roman. Did not like this guy, but I definitely love Dean Ambrose.
From 6 months out with a knee injury as the Weasley heel, despite his return receiving one of the biggest pops of the year. But have no fear, heel Seth Rollins still wrestles like a give-it-their-all babyface, even at his most cowardly and heelish. The match itself is great, with Rollins barely missing a step, and that finish featuring the spear being counted into a pedigree, magic. The afters may have been even better. The main course was still filling. Number 7, CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan 2012. God bless 2012, giving us what we wanted, but only kinda. We got what we wanted with Brock's return, but only kinda, because Cena beat him in his first match back. We got CM Punk as WWE Champion for a year, but only kinda, because while he was face, he couldn't buy a main event spot. And even gave us 2 of Ring of Honor's finest graduates, Punk and Bryan, fighting for the WWE Championship. but only kinda because it was more about special guest referee AJ Lee. Now, to be fair, Punk and Bryan had wrestled straight up the previous month at Over the Limit, but even so, would have liked a little less Days of Our Lives served with my Punk getting his head kicked in. In actuality, Lee's presence was more of a red herring than not, a suggestion of sports entertainment looming that never fully arrived as Punk and Bryan battered each other in a no DQ environment, featuring a rarely seen finisher of a table spot actually being the end of a standard no DQ match for a change. No f***ing clue why this didn't main event the show, of course, but what do I know? Nothing about no one. Number 6, Randy Orton vs. Christian 2011. Last week we did a list about the 10 greatest World Heavyweight Championship matches. Hey, you should go and watch all that, it well good. In that list I mentioned that Christian and Randy Orton secretly had rivalry of the year in 2011, turning out one more awesome match after one more awesome match, and this is no different. After a few dodgy moments of officiating in previous matches, Christian had morphed into the best kind of villain, someone who had been legitimately wronged but was being a pissy little bitch about it. As such,
I was trying to remember this is when, because the only reason I know I said that because I remember that around this time, majority of his years when he had the Wolverine Orton was a babyface, surprisingly. Majority of that run right there with the Wolverine hair. Yeah, this is when
of their Money in the Bank rematch was that if there was bad refereeing or if Orton got DQ'd, Christian could win the title that way. And you know what? Normally that makes a match worse, just a bunch of theatre that breaks match momentum and puts an undue amount of focus on the ref, but damn it if Christian wasn't just pissy enough to make it work. A great match, these two had amazing chemistry and a fantastic finish that played perfectly into both men's characters, Christian as a weasel and Orton as a well-documented powder keg. Ace. Number 5, AJ Styles vs. Shinsuke Nakamura 2018. That feud that everyone hated, that produced that match that everyone actually really liked at the time, but that no one remembers because it blew off the feud that everyone hated. Now, to be fair, when an earlier match in that feud, a matchup, by the way, that had previously semi-mained a Wrestle Kingdom, ended with both men kicking each other in the penis and then fainting, then yeah, you probably want the whole feud erased from your memory too. But no, their last man standing match at Money in the Bank 2018, that ruled. Went 30 minutes, which is probably nearer to the length people expected their Mania match to go. Featured a jumping stars clash from the ring steps that looked gnarly. It finally ended with one definitive punt to the cockles and a phenomenal forearm from the ring through the announce table, which never fails to be a bloody awesome spot. Another case of the WWE Championship also not main eventing the show for some reason, but hey ho. Number 4, the Usos versus the Street Profits 2022. NXT TakeOver Tag Team Wrestling is the thing I miss most about NXT 1.0. Now, don't get me wrong, the Creed brothers do their very best, but a good revival or Undisputed Era tag team.
Yeah, Creed brothers do, but he's there.
Title match, those were the days. So it was very nice of Vince to give us a tag match of the year candidate on his way out the door. Not often you see a standing ovation mid-match, but the lads earned it. I mean, the Usos have been turning out non-stop.
One reason was I did like the ending because it was like part of this whole thing of this long overhaul reign of the Den Hill Usos. On their side now, they represent the baby faces, but yeah, this is the only thing I disliked about it. It was like part of their whole reign of their heel reign at the time.
Since the early 2010s, and the Street Profits are no slouches. We all know or hope that Montez Ford is a future example of the guy, but it's always great to see Angelo Dawkins throw some dudes around. The result was never really in doubt, seeing it was the first time the Usos would defend their unified tag straps on pay-per-view, but it still escalated beautifully, including an ace near fall following an electric chair blockbuster. Ford once again proving he is the guy by leaping over the ring post to the outside. There's loads of last-minute saves in there as well. God, tag team wrestling's the best. Number 3, Edge vs. Roman Reigns 2021. The first WWE pay-per-view main event after the COVID restrictions were lifted, and honestly, that went a huge way towards making this match as awesome as it was. Not only did wrestling have its secret sauce back in the bun, because as horrible as wrestling fans are, and they always are, without them, wrestling is dry as a dead man's balls, but also WWE like to mark milestone pay-per-views by doing big, silly things, and what could be bigger and sillier than Edge ending the year-plus reign of Roman? Also, in a truly deft bit of direction, heel Seth Rollins cut a promo before the match proclaiming himself to be the #1 contender to whomever won, all those ducks being in a row. Fans felt it in the air, and I don't care what you say about Roman's run, and half of you are probably right, but those times where he felt like he could lose it have been some of the best wrestling moments of the last few years. A very overbooked match, but one that, my God, had fans on side. Those missed fans, those awfully missed, awful fans. Number 2, Seth Rollins vs AJ Styles 2019. The one bright spot of Seth Rollins being Universal Champion. Across both of his runs with that belt, he either defended it against a clown in one of the worst booked feuds in wrestling history, or defended against some form of Baron Corbin. He defended it on 3 straight major shows against Corbin. That's not a good thing. However, Seth's first pay-per-view defense after winning it at Mania was bloody wonderful. Seth Rollins vs AJ Styles on pay-per-view, and they gave it 20 lovely minutes. I've said, and they gave it 20 minutes loads of times in this list. Maybe the secret of good wrestling is good wrestlers wrestling for longer. Difficult to say. NXT takeovers used to be built on that wild concept, and to be fair, this is the closest we got to a takeover style match on the main roster before Triple H took over and ordered his wonderful son Gunther to start rocking fools on the regular. Styles vs Rollins at Night of Champions this year was good, but it wasn't a patch on this. Just 2 amazing wrestlers going out there and baby facing it, using guile to scout all their opponents' big moves rather than heel trickery. Towards the finish, there's a stomp reversal into a Styles clash, which was peachy. After the match, they teased it continuing and Styles maybe going heel. Didn't happen though. After all, Baron was waiting in the wings. Miagra. And number 1, John Cena vs CM Punk 2011. Well, duh. We spoke in the Edge Roman.
I was wondering if this is Money in the Bank,
crowd, and this still might rank as one of the top 5 hottest crowds in WWE history after years of tedious bollocks, of Cena wins lol, of Raw guest hosts, of the product being the worst it had been in over a decade. Because 2009 and 2010, they were really bad years, guys. Finally, we got a glimpse of attitude. They may not have been able to wrangle it long term, but for one beautiful moment, we saw the sort of enthusiasm for a wrestling show that might have been born off the back of a Texas rattlesnake, a people's champion, maybe even a real American. Not Jack Swagger, I meant Hulk. Everyone in that building wanted Punk to win. Everyone in that building wanted Cena to lose, and everyone in that building got their wish. The match itself is pretty damn good in isolation, but it's impossible to view it in isolation. It's more than that, for me at least. It's why people give Punk chance after chance, because on this one night, he made them feel like a young wrestling fan again. And that's huge.
About it, a lot of folks say this whole thing brought them back to WWE. They took a hits at one point too. Even Kicking and Ross said the same thing as well too. So this is definitely interesting that the way he's describing it though is very interesting.
And that's our list. What's your favorite Money in the Bank pay-per-view match?
Cool. So here you have it. Those good picks, right? Definitely some good picks though. I'm saying, regardless, the matches are pretty good. There was some good picks of the non-battle matches, not Money in the Bank matches. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.